Okay, so I want to get straight into this. It's about taking that perfect photograph on film. Now, I want to show you some photographs that I've taken over the years on film that I really love. The joy and the enjoyment of taking photographs on film with all its wonders and inadequacies. So, this is right near Westminster Bridge, and it's now been, all this has been removed and it's been restored. I don't know what it is. It's some sort of storage cupboard, I think. If I can find a like a shot of it on Google Street View, I'll show it to you, but I probably won't be able to do that. But this was the first time I ever used Svema film, and I had no clue what it was going to come out like. But it has the most amazing tones within it, and out of all the films I've ever used at 100 ISO, I've always been most pleased with the shots I've taken on Svema. Now, it's still available. It's actually starting to become available again, I believe. I've seen some on eBay. It isn't too expensive until you put the price of the postage and packing, because it's coming from Ukraine. So I'm not going to buy it until it comes to the point where we can get it at a decent price. But you just see across this would have been taken on my Olympus OM20 with a 50mm lens. I do know that. And just zoom in, and you can see, yeah, I really, really love this. So this one was actually only taken a couple of weeks ago, and I chose between this one and the one I took with Kentmere 200, which was a neons, and it said the word love on it. And I actually really, really like the photograph of the love ones, but I chose this one. This was taken with Fuji C200. It had been expired for 10 years, yet what a great shot. What a lovely, the colours, the rendition, and there's no problems with colour shifting or anything like that. The film must have been kept well, but what I have discovered with the difference between Fujifilm and Kodak film, Fujifilm seems to have a better longevity than the Kodak film does. And I didn't know what I was going to get. Obviously, I was doing a center weight reading, and it could have been, it could have blown it out and brightened it up too much, but it didn't. I nailed the shot. Very pleased with this. I've actually got a photograph of this, 18 by 12, on my wall, and I'm sitting looking at it as we speak. So this one was taken during the bad times, and I was out walking and doing my, as they said, daily exercise, and there was this lady feeding the geese and the swans in the snow, as you can see. And I think this was taken on Cairo. Film Never Dies, Cairo. And I didn't know what it was. I still don't know what it is, what type of film it is. I think it might be one of the Kodaks, I'm not sure. However, I could be wrong. It could be Kodak Gold for all I know. So the conditions were, it was semi-bright, as you can see in the actual, it was a completely cloud-covered day, but we're getting a nice sort of light off the actual snow, and her just standing there holding her arm out to the swans. And it's one of those special photographs, and it's special to me because last Christmas I had with my mum, she wanted this as a canvas print, and so we got that done for her, and I've got a photograph of her with it smiling, and within 2 months she'd passed away, but it's a lovely memory for me that she loved this photograph. And now the second shot, taken on C200. Again, I think this must have been something like 15 years out of date, and I happened to be in Cornwall during the troubled times again, and I was out with this film, and I was staying with a friend. He'd moved house, so I was actually helping him move house, and I can't remember where. I think it might have been in Bodmin actually, and I saw this phone box. And I saw just the sheer decay of it, and the colours and the reds. As you know, I like reds, and you got the green moss and stuff like that, or algae of some kind. And I thought this would make a great shot, and not knowing until I got it back just how good it is. And I've actually got I've got a picture of this on my wall. I know what you're going to say. It looks like you've taken a photograph of a photograph, and I have. I just literally rushed doing this a few minutes ago before I needed to get this video out. I found this in one of my boxes the other day, and the reason it is such a lovely photograph to me, it was the first ever time lapse I took. It was the first time I went out with my tripod. I had a Velabond tripod, I think they were a thing, and I took 2 shots, one of a train going in this direction, which is this one, and then one coming in the other direction. Now the one coming the other direction didn't work at all. This one did, and you got these lovely streaks of light. It's okay. It's the focus isn't brilliant, but I think what it was, when I was doing the bulb exposure, the vibration of the train was causing minute ripples and stuff, and was shaking the tripod slightly. But when I originally had this printed, because I had a print done before this, it was a lot better than this, and the word canteen unit was a bit clearer. But I have it there because it was the first one I'd ever done, and it was the first one, and I took out of the 2, and it was a success. And this was back in the days when I looked at the package of a film and thought, oh, I like that colour, I like that package, I'll buy that film. And I think it's a Fujifilm, if I remember rightly, when I took this on. And it would have been taken on a Praktica MTL5, or I think. That's what my dad's camera was before I bought my own first camera, which is a Canon T70, and didn't have a blessed clue how to work it. Infrared on film, not a digital copy. This is the real thing. And I used the Rollei infrared film for this shot. I was out the other summer when we had some really, really, really bright light that had lots of infrared in, and just standing under the canopy near the river in Bedford. And infrared does give a striking shot. However, it's getting the exposure right, and it's getting the actual shot right and how you want to do it. I love the way I'm under the canopy, although even though the leaves are still light under the canopy, which is quite difficult to get. I was surprised how well they come up. And then to have all the trees in the array in front of me to be that bleached white. And this is one of those photographs I could just sit and look at for hours. I'm fascinated by how infrared works, and just being able to take the shot like this is such a great pleasure. So this, I wish I'd never got rid of the lens I took this on. It was on a Cosina, is it 18 to 35mm lens, and I was literally, this is actually part of a video I did about working with HP5, and I went all around, I believe up by Emirates Stadium and stuff. Encapsulates a lot. What I like about this shot is you can actually walk into it. It's one of those ones that steps down, it leads off into the distance. I've always liked shots like that, and the grain and the tone really suits this shot, and that's what I love about this one so much. Okay, so this was taken on Ilford XP2 Super, and it was developed in ID11, but the actual film was exposed at 200 ISO, and I love the way the focus is dropped at the front, and then you see the one padlock that's in focus, and it drops out again. And that one is a different colour. That one's actually painted, I think it was yellow. And I was told, someone said to me on a video post saying, try XP2 Super and do it 200 in ID11, and it gives the most amazing tones within it, and I love it. And it's one of those ones I'm going to go back to again and again and again and reuse the film like that. And when I was getting back into photography, there's actually a video linked to this as well, and someone said in the comments, I love the photograph and I can't remember how many minutes and seconds it was, and it's really nice. And this was taken, I believe, on Fomapan 100 ISO, and I was just about to go and teach some photography, and I was going around taking different shots. But yeah, I don't know why people slate Fomapan. I've seen people really slate it. It is a really great film. I prefer this probably to the Kentmere, although the Kentmere 200 that I took, I said about the love image, of the neon lights. Yeah, that was good. But I think I prefer Fomapan, and it's got such a wide latitude within the three range of the 100, 400, 200, and then the different development times you can use for each pulling and pushing, which makes it really, really special. Okay, so I was away at an event, and this lady was painting someone. She looked up at me and gave me like a indignant look and carried on. And I thought it was so colourful. And this is Fuji Velvier, and this would have been taken on a Canon EOS 50E. And yeah, I just love bright colours, as you know, and this really, really sums it up. Going back to Sfema, and this was taken on the same roll, and it was actually the shot before the one you saw right at the start, the London Eye. But look at the, it has that feature film look to it. It's super sharp. It's got really, really, really dark tones, but you don't necessarily lose all of the shadows to black, although it is quite strong. But you get the most amazing whites, amazing tones across this actual film, and that's why it's in this group. The one thing I don't like is this here, but other than that, one of my special photographs. So the last two photographs I'm going to show you were not shot on film, and I beg your forgiveness. So going back to 2006, and I've gone on a holiday with a friend to Paris, and I had a Canon 350D, and I literally, I think it's called the Arc de Triomphe. We're standing on this thing, and the obviously Eiffel Tower was in the distance, and I didn't think anything of it. And I took the shot, and I looked at the screen on the back, and thought, well, that looks quite good. And it wasn't until I got it back I realised what a great shot I've got, and I've seen some amazing photographs of the Eiffel Tower, but to be able to take one yourself as well, yeah, I'm really pleased with it. And I say it was a digital shot. And I know the last photograph I'm going to show you, again, the one that was used in the thumbnail, this was taken on digital. It was actually taken on my mobile phone. But what I've done is I've converted it to Velvier to see what it's like, and there is a considerable difference between that and the actual mobile shot. But again, I love the colours. I love the fact I've taken a shot that's got the shard in it, and it doesn't necessarily distract from the actual photograph. And you've got these little spots of red in the right hand side with the flowers in the corner. There's no one about. It's because it's when I go into London early. And apologies if you think I've been naughty in doing this, but I hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and more things coming soon. Thanks. Bye.